Hey everyone, PushingUpRoses here, and today we're talking about a charming little DOS game from 1989 called Street Rod, which reminds me of Hot Rod, which reminds me of Rod Stewart, which reminds me of his hit Young Turks. So yes, Street Rod reminds me of Young Turks. A little known fact about myself is that I have a soft spot for racing games, good and bad really. You might remember my love for Moonshine Racers, a mediocre, impossibly difficult racing game I had when I was a wee roses. I loved it. It had so much character despite its problems, and I was yearning for another title similar to it so I could experience those warm fuzzy feelings that often come with finding a good DOS game. Someone recommended Street Rod and I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. The game was also released for the Amiga and Commodore 64, but y'all know I'm a DOS girl. Street Rod is supposed to take you back to the early 1960s, giving you American graffiti and grease realness. This is the time of diners, awesome-looking gas stations, and racing for pinks. Not vaginas, pink slips.
Pinks, you punk! Pink slips, ownership papers!
This is exactly the type of game I think about when I think DOS. Beautiful graphics, fun gameplay, and traumatizing speaker music. Yeah, I muted my game. Besides, I had Young Turks playing the whole time anyway. Admittedly, I did not like this game when I first booted it up. I wasn't sure what to do, and I felt that it was way too hard. You start in your garage during summer break, and you need a car. The garage actually acts as the game's UI, so click on the newspaper down here and browse the used cars section. You have a little bit of money to start, so you can get some gas, and then hit the streets to look for racing opponents. I lost the first handful of races. Everything went wrong. I kept getting into car wrecks, I kept ruining my engine with the manual cars, and the cops pulled me over several times. Apparently, I also dropped the transmission, as in it literally fell off while I was driving. I thought perhaps this was some sort of lingo I wasn't familiar with, but nope. When I got back to the garage, it was just gone. I have never heard of this happening in real life. Once I got over some of these hurdles and won a few races, I was hooked. The tracks themselves are rather boring. From beginning to finish, they remain the same. Same road for road racing, same road for drag racing, but I am strangely okay with that. The racing isn't the best part of this game anyway. The fun comes from winning new cars, taking them back to the garage, and souping them up. The game features models from Ford, Chrysler, and GM, specifically muscle cars. With the money, you can save up and buy better parts for your car, which you find in the paper, and you can install them yourself. Pretty straightforward. A new transmission is installed easily by removing it, placing a new one in, and screwing the bolts down yourself. You can strip the bumpers and shave the roof for a slightly faster, more aerodynamic car, and most importantly, you can change the car's color and slap a sticker on the door. Wow, these are all so beautiful. As tempting as it is to get the sticker that looks like it says Nell instead of Hell, I think I'll go with the Banana Club sticker. Aren't you intimidated by my banana? Or how about a rainbow sticker that says Not for Sale? I did sell that car later with the sticker still on it, proving that anything can be sold for the right price. Overall, it's good to stick to one solid car anyway. There we go, check out my little deuce coupe. The hot spot is Bob's Diner, where you are greeted by the Fonz. He is here all day and all night, never leaving his post. As you can see, different opponents pass by, and depending on your reputation, you can challenge them. If you don't want to wait for them to pop up, you can tell the Fonz to call them over. Just click on the person you want to race and they'll drive right on up. You can also order food from this depressed-looking blob of a character. Now, this game doesn't really have a story, and you don't get to know any of these characters. The most you get out of them is disrespect, even from the guy at the gas station. Gee, sorry for interrupting your work nap, Gus. I pay your bills, you know. Since there isn't a lot of personality going on, I did give a few of the characters their own background stories to spice it up a bit. This is Bob. He's been working at this diner for 13 years and he never sleeps. Burgers are his life. This is Ralph. Ralph is a good-for-nothing bum whose wife is constantly getting on his ass for not having a job. He's the only opponent who isn't a teenager and is labeled a poser by the rest of the racers, but he's desperate for money. He's so desperate that while we were racing, he pulled in front of me, then slowed down, causing me to crash into him. Shit! Shit! What the fuck? Shit! Clearly he was committing insurance fraud. Later I raced him for pinks and won his car, leading him to crawl back to his wife and plead for forgiveness for being a rotten has-been. The waitress's name is Judy, and she's just a small town gal saving up money to go to college. When she's not waitressing, she's an actress at the local theater. She has a crush on this Fonz character, but their families have been in a lifelong feud over differing politics, so their love is forbidden. But as you can see, the Fonz shows his affections for her via body language. This is Erica. She's a firecracker by night, feared by the other opponents, but revered for her amazing drag racing skills. During the day, she works at the library and is a straight-A student. I've decided that my character has an intense attraction to her, and when they race, it feels like they're making love. Trust me, once the ball gets rolling with this game, your imagination is going to fill in a lot of the gaps. As far as gameplay, there's some strategy. Time management is key because you only have until the end of the summer to win. To win, you have to beat the king, and I was not able to do this before time ran out. There is a very precise way to beat him. You have to switch gears at the exact correct time, bump him off the road immediately, and I was not able to do this, but this is the type of game that definitely benefits from a second playthrough. You can experiment with different cars, different car parts, and you can actually look under your opponent's hoods to see what you're going up against. You can decide when you want to play for money or just for kicks, you can decide when you want to practice drag racing, and there's even a strategy when it comes to saving your game. You see, you can only save your game in the garage, and every time you travel, it takes up a little more time. So even doing that has to be done sparingly. But can I take a moment to just say, look at all of these sexy save slots. I am so pleased to see so many. Come to mama. There isn't much more to say about Street Rod, honestly. It feels very unique despite one-track type of gameplay. Get it? One track? Because there's literally one track? And I think it's cool that you get to change the car's parts, upgrade them yourself, tune their engines, and keep track of your gas tank. There's not a lot to it, there's not even that many screens, but it's really fun and such a blast from the past. This is what I think of when I think charming DOS game. There was a sequel released in 1991 with a lot of new car options, some updated graphics, and a couple new tracks, though it's notoriously difficult to the point of not being that much fun. I like that the original Street Rod does give you some leeway, especially when it comes to shifting gears in the manual cars. It still gets challenging even though I drive the same track over and over again. There's still the chance of getting pulled over or even losing control of your car if you're going too fast. Overall, I think it's balanced. It was definitely a cool little racing game for the time, so as long as you mute that traumatizing music, then I think you'll enjoy it. I am showcasing the Special Edition, which has more vehicle options and was released as freeware in 2014. So with that, and being a pretty entertaining game that will bring you back to the days of DOS, there's no reason not to give it a test drive. Hey everyone, thanks for watching my video on Street Rod. I hope you guys look into it and give all the characters your own unique stories. If you're interested in more DOS game reviews, then check out the rest of my channel. You may find something nostalgic. Also, check me out on social media, and if you want to support the show, consider becoming my patron. As always, see you guys in the next one.